Namaskar, good afternoon. You're watching ET Now. I'm Anisha Jain, with me Saisha Faridi and Pom. Now the market is holding to the green. In fact, we are just around that 25,000 mark a few minutes ago, and we're holding on to that. So 25,035 is where the index is at right now. Definite outperformance coming in from the banking index today. So the bank Nifty is up over 1% in the trading session, a solid gain of around 645 points coming in from the bank Nifty. So clearly impressive, and the broader markets too are actually joining the party, and that's the good news that mid-cap and small-cap indices have managed to bounce back, and there is a bit of an outperformance there. Energy, auto, pharma, these are the sectors which are leading from the front. So very broad-based kind of setup is what we have at our hands. Metals, of course, are sulking in the trading session. That disappointment coming in as far as the Chinese stimulus is concerned, and that's the reason the metal stocks are losing out their sheen after gaining substantially in the week gone by. In fact, losing sheen is something which is the case across the board in the global markets as well. If you look at the Hang Seng Index, that ended with a cut of almost 9.5%. The Shanghai is up almost 4.5% at the moment, and the European markets too have started on the back foot, at least as to what is visible now. You have CAC, FTSE, DAX, which are all down anywhere between 0.5 to 1.5%, and the pre-market rates from US are also fairly mixed, fairly quiet, so not much Q coming in from at least the US markets at the moment. But for now, we are holding in the green, and that's the good news. Let's see how long it continues, because we had seen that volatility come by yesterday as well in the last 1 hour. Let's see if it's deja vu.
Yeah, absolutely. Just waiting for that last hour move, whether we stay put, build on to the gains, or actually see some selling coming into this uptick. For now, 25,200 is what we're staring at for the Nifty futures. Adani Ports, Adani Enterprises, M&M, LTIM, Divis, these are your large cap movers. And amongst the heavyweights, HDFC Bank is putting on nearly about 2% in the green right now. L&T is higher by about 1.5%. Reliance up 1.5%, and so is the price action on SBI. So it's these four pillars which are really giving that due leg up to the markets. But like Anisha said, we're actually the region outperformers, of course, ex-China. So it seems like you're seeing some emerging market regional allocation being done, and India also benefiting from that. But that said, a lot of individual stars from within the broader end of the market as well. And I can't really call it broader end anymore, but look at Trent and the kind of teasing heights that this stock is currently sitting on. Their foray into the mass price beauty with Zudio Beauty, and now the lab-grown diamond segment as well. Morgan Stanley is now maintained their overweight with a target price of 8,032, which I think they're already going to clock just about any time, literally. Tata Motors, the Q2 update hasn't been all that strong. The JLR wholesales have actually seen a decline of about 10% on a year-on-year basis, and that's not quite auguring well for the sentiment on the stock. Skipper, though, Nuvama has initiated a buy, target price of 650. This stock has already done very well year to date, and it's moving up another 11.25%. The one stock, there's no news flow on that one, but look at the moves on Paytm. It's now sitting at a double-digit gain. If we can just bring up that intraday graph, 13% of an uptick. It's an 85-point move on the stock. 736 thereabouts is where that stock has surged to. Let's welcome on board then our experts and figure out what to do in the last lap of today's trading session. We've got Kunal Bothra, Chakri Lokpriya, both joining in the show right now. Kunal, just a quick check on the market. Does it seem like we are once again going to sell into this uptick, or do you think we'll stay put with the gains?
No, in the last half an hour, we should not be looking to go into a negative territory, at least on the indices. It's been a good recovery, and it's been led by a lot of large cap names. So only one sector which is in the negative side, and that's the metal sector, where the price performance is negative today by 0.5% to 1%. But broadly, I think it's the performance which has come back across many large cap names, and I think that should probably be one of the reasons why the market could sustain. Now, the interesting bit is to look at yesterday's high, and we've not been able to cross over yesterday's high for the Nifty as well as for the Bank Nifty. So I think if we happen to do that in the next 1 or 2 days, where we cross back about 25,200, say for example, on the Nifty, and 51,500 for the Bank Nifty, then I think we could be looking at a decisive reversal as well as a potential short covering rally for both the indices.
Okay, potential bounce back is what we are expecting at the moment. Chakri Lokpriya also joins us on the show. Chakri, hi, good to be speaking with you. Let's begin by discussing what's happening to Paytm today. A solid 11% rally at the moment, 13% actually. What explains that, and would you be a buyer at around 735?
Good afternoon. I'm sorry, I don't know why Paytm is really moving, so I wouldn't be able to comment on that.
We're all wondering and we're having the same question, and we thought maybe you'll help us kind of understand that better. But barring that, if you're looking at the other internals and the other segments of the markets which are holding up, there is that outperformance coming in from the likes of Trent, which is of course now foraying into lab grown diamonds as well as the mass beauty segment as well. What's the view on Trent? Because while we complain about the valuations, clearly people are willing to pay a price for growth.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I don't think we should really talk about valuations for Trent now. Yes, they are expensive. They will continue to remain so. And the reason why the valuations will continue to remain high is because they're coming out with these new products which appeal to the consumer, the target consumer. Here, lab-grown diamonds, Zudio, and all of that. The kind of widens the wallet share, and therefore I think the company's growth rates will continue to hold up. So I'd still be a buyer of Trent.
Okay.
Still be a buyer at Trent. In fact, we did speak with an analyst earlier in the day to talk to us about at what value perhaps you see more benefits coming in, and whether there is a further upside to the targets that have already been listed out on account of the incremental business from the lab-grown diamonds as well as beauty. Hear out what Jignanshu Gaurav Bernstein had to tell us.
So the Zudio Beauty line is a way of creating an independent business, and I think there is a potential for that business to grow and add to the top line, and hence add to the target price as well. I am also I'm also very excited about the lab-grown diamond business, which Westside has announced another brand name of POM. It is an unknown space in India, largely so far, but it fits very nicely with the whole consumer theme in India, which is about aspirational buying from consumers, but not every consumer can really afford a real diamond. So I think both these avenues that they have are net positive for the company. But today we are confident that 8100 is a good target price, with both of these giving potential upsides. We need to walk through the numbers to get to the potential upsides. Haven't done that so far.
Okay, Trent, 8100 could be a good target on this one. Already at 8007, that's Trent in trade for you. Kunal, how do you read into charts like this? I mean, not too long back, the stock was at 6,000. We're already at 8,000. And I mean, soon, before you know it, maybe a 10K level on this one.
Yeah, difficult to anticipate now that what level the price rally could hold for Trent. But I think it's been a fantastic chart. The last 3,000, 4,000 points has actually come with a very similar kind of a trend behavior. I think from start of 2024, the stock has been just about holding on to its 50-day moving averages. There have been periods where the stock has corrected 5%, 7-8% average, and all of those corrections have halted exactly at the 50-day moving average, which means we can expect very similar kind of a price trends going forward. That in case if the stock corrects, comes back to the 50-day moving average, that could actually be a good price zone to try and buy the stock. So difficult to anticipate at what price levels the rally would halt. But I think just because of the trend behavior, I think buying closer to the 50-day moving average could actually turn out to be a good strategy.
Yes, Trent has been a trendsetter and heading towards that 5-digit mark, no less, a 8% surge as we speak on Trent. But Vinay Rajani also joins us on the show. Vinay, Chakri wasn't able to help us understand what's really happening with Paytm on a fundamental basis. But what about the charts and also Ola Electric for that matter? Because when we started off the trading session, it was well in the red, down about 4-5%, but it's recovered most of the gains and it's actually comfortably in the green right now.
Yeah, so right now the stock is trading at around 736, 13% up. So yesterday's fall has been, supply has been absorbed and the stock is trading around the recent high. So definitely the strength is there. Stock has been forming high tops, higher bottoms on the daily and weekly chart. So that's a good sign. So this is the stock from the new age tech company, which is holding very well and giving good returns. So I think one should stick to the strength, and the stock is trading very strong. And yesterday's low, which was around 637. So that becomes the strong support for now. So if somebody wants to take a bet from this level, then 637 should be the stop loss, which happens to be the yesterday's low. So one should continue to hold on to the long position and be with a trend. And this is the one of the stock which is showing great amount of resilience. So right now the trend is positive and stock is also trading above all important moving averages. And Dow theory also suggests that the trend should remain positive only. So in this is a resilient stock, and one should continue to hold on to the long position with a stop loss of 637.
Okay, that's the take coming in on the big spike in Paytm and of course the recovery as well that's playing out in Ola Electric, although the stock is down, I think, almost about 38 odd percent. Yeah, 38 odd percent from its peak after its listing. Quick break then, continue tracking markets on the other side. Back to closing trades right here on ET now. Just looking at the closing trades, and they're maintaining their gains at least so far. Actually, no, a little bit of an ease off, but let's see whether this actually turns out to be one of those absolutely flat days and move everywhere kind of intraday move for the markets. Dixon has now perked up about almost 7.6% as we speak right now. India Mar has been doing very well, a 6% scale up coming in there. PFC is quite the buzzer today, up 5%, and Balkrishna Industries as well is seeing a good 5% kind of move. Chakri, we spoke about Trent, but you know, from the entire retail category, and let's throw in quick commerce as well, it's pretty much an arm of that itself. Where is it that you're finding value right now, and where is it that you would be confident of putting fresh money to work? Because DMart kind of formats clearly seem to be getting out of favor.
Yes, they have. You're right, absolutely right. But companies like Devyani, whether it's a Pizza Hut, they cater to both in-house as well as delivery kind of dining, and so does KFC. And so those kind of formats still they see some amount of footfalls. These stocks have corrected quite a lot, and therefore I think the valuations are slightly more attractive for you to think, especially going into a season where the volumes will actually pick up.
See when the volumes actually pick up. But shifting focus to what's happening to Ola Electric now, because this is an important news flow, because sources tell us that Ola Electric related issues are actually catching attention of the government as well. The road ministry is looking into it. Samir Dikshit is joining us with the latest on this one. Samir, we've already seen CCPA take action against the company. There was that war of words that happened. We have been seeing videos of customers impacted, and the kind of pile of scooters which are lined up at the service stations. What action is the government likely to take around it now?
So definitely, as you have mentioned, that government has taken the cognizance of the thousands of complaints that has been raised by the Ola customers, and in the same direction, now what we are picking up from our highly sourced places in the Road Transport Ministry, that the Road Transport Ministry is also looking into the issue of Ola Electric, the problem that is there with the electric two-wheelers. So they have taken the cognizance, and it is very likely that by this week itself, they will seek a detailed report from the company. So this is when it comes to the Road Transport Ministry. And it is also very important to note that Nitin Gadkari, the minister who is heading the Road Transport Ministry, is the biggest face of the entire electric mobility revolution. He has been echoing, he has been making a statement related to the electric vehicle in the country, and he is quite confident about it. And when the ground reality shows that the EV two-wheeler is having thousands of complaints. More than 10,000 complaints have been raised on the consumer portal, that is with the government. So now Road Transport Ministry has sprung into action. They might seek a detailed report, but as of now, they have taken the cognizance, they have sought the reports. And in addition to this, as you have rightly mentioned, CCPA, the Central Consumer Protection Authority, they have already sent a show cause notice to Ola on October 3rd, and they have sought a detailed reply from the company within 15 days. And they have raised the point that it appears that there is a clear violation of the Consumer Protection Act 2019, and it reflects to the part that there are there are problems when it comes to the claims that have been made by Ola Electric. There are problems with the deficiency of services. So these all serious problems have been raised. If you see the larger picture, thousands of customers, they have raised complaint of their Ola two-wheeler, whether it be related to the after-sale service, the claim that has been made by the companies. So that's the larger picture. But as of now, both the Road Transport Ministry as well as CCPA, they have come into action and they are seeking a detailed reply from the company.
Yeah, I guess that seems to be also reflecting in the way the stock has been battered down almost 38% from its recent top. But let's just take stock of what else is happening in the market right now. We definitely have eased off a little bit from the peak, but trying to hold on to that 120 odd point gain for the Nifty futures and cling on to that 25,100 print. Although in the last few minutes itself, we've knocked off about 60 points from the top. While M&M is scaling up higher, it's a good 3% of a move coming in. HDFC Bank still is looking good. L&T is still holding out. ONGC also has made a comeback, as has been the case for both Reliance as well as SBI. So they are sort of trying to hold on to the recovery on the index. But Chakri, anything that you may have bought in the decline that we've seen in the last week to now?
If you look at, all these various names that have fell, power sector seems to be the most resilient. Companies like NTPC, today Skipper is up like 10%. These companies have the earnings momentum ahead with them. And because, broadly, as an index, you're seeing an earnings slowing down. So I would focus on the power utilities. They fell, but I still stay away from the power financiers like REC and Power Finance, simply because there is an uncertainty whether they will be required to fund the telecom companies.
That's the word coming in. Of course, a lot to watch out for in these allied sectors as well. But take a look at Skipper, for instance. That Nuvama initiation has had a positive impact. Tata Power, JSW Energy are reacting to that Nomura note as well. In fact, if we can, let's bring on Jinay as well to talk to us about what exactly are the brokerage houses talking about, because the entire ecosystem, despite the run-up that we have seen, continues to see fresh brokerage, optimism. You also have the power financiers, which have been, recently initiated coverage on by Motilal Oswal. So tell us, Jinay, what exactly are the brokerages talking about and what's driving the optimism?
Well, yes, definitely power stocks are in focus as we have multiple initiation reports by various brokerage houses. Let's first talk about Tata Power. Nomura has initiated a buy rating with the target price of 560. Now, they expect that Tata Power is all set to deliver a 16% EBITDA CAGR over FY24, FY27. The growth will be mainly driven by the 2 times increase in their renewable energy capacity, and they also see a robust delivery of the 15,700 solar EPC order book and the jump in Odisha profitability. Moving on, Motilal Oswal initiated a buy rating on PFC and REC. For PFC, they have a buy rating with the target price of rupees 560, and for REC, they have the target price of 630. Now, what they believe is both of these companies are fueling nation's energy boom. Also, the investment opportunity in this space stands about 42 lakh crore and more. They believe that India is set to add about 250 gigawatts of new power generation capacity, and they believe that both of these companies will benefit from this as India is in the power up cycle, and these companies will benefit from power sector's capex revival. Moving on, Skipper, Nuvama has initiated a buy rating with the target price of 650. Now, they believe that the company is a niche player in pole position and is all poised for a powerful performance. Also, the proposed NEP with an indicative capex of about 9.2 lakh crore, along with the global way of RE transmission, will support Skipper's growth. Skipper is also stand to benefit from immensely from the domestic and export order intake tailwinds, and they're expecting a sales and EPS CGR of 26%, 50% respectively over FY24-27 with an EBITDA margin of 10.5%.
Those are some buzzers in trade and how the brokerages are upgrading some of these stocks. But Vinay, just want to get you in on some of these buzzing charts. Skipper, for instance, which my colleague just highlighted.
Yeah, so Skipper has hit an all-time high today. 513 was the high, and the setup is quite strong. So this is one of the mid-cap and small mid-cap stock. We can say it is into clearly uptrend. So despite the weakness in the markets and the mid-cap, small caps, the kind of sell-off we witnessed in last 3-4 sessions, this stock has been very resilient and looking still strong. Yesterday's low, this is almost a typical higher top, higher bottom formation on the daily chart, and yesterday's low is at 440. So that becomes the strong support. So looking strong on the charts, and the entire space that we have been discussing now, so entire space is into an uptrend. So this is one of the stock which is looking strong and likely to outperform the mid cap space in the coming days. So looking very strong, and as far as short term support is concerned, I think 440 is a very strong support for the stock, and trend is clearly is into a bullish side.
Right, okay, Chakri, we let you go on that note. Thanks as always for taking the time out. Kunal, let's have your closing ideas.
So I think in terms of the closing trade, I would look at one of the few larger cap names which have been doing pretty well for itself today, HAL, and that's a chart which has bounced back from its 200-day moving average, forming a double bottom at the 4200 mark. So that would be a stock which I would suggest as a buy.
Okay, and Vinay, what's your closing idea?
Yeah, so I would go with the pharma stocks. So Glenmark Pharma looks very strong on the charts, and today pharma stocks, the entire sector has been outperforming. So I think considering the primary trend, I would go with the pharma space, and Glenmark Pharma looks very strong on the chart. So around 1718, one can initiate long. Stop loss can be kept at 1690, and upside target can be seen at 1760. The second pick I would like to take is from the IT. So IT is looking convincing to me, and one of the stock which is strongest amongst the all is the Coforge, which is trading around its all-time high. Coforge level is around 7280, so around that level one can initiate fresh long position for the trading. Stop loss I would suggest at 7150. On the higher side, I'm expecting a target of 7480. So these are the two stocks I like for the short-term trading purpose. So with the strict stop loss, one can go along with the mentioned targets.
Right, okay, we're going to take a very quick break and clearly that sort of 2 p.m. move has kicked in because we've given up most of our gains. We're sub the 25,100 mark, so it's been quite a bit of cool off that we've seen from the top. Take a break, be right back.
Welcome back. A bit of a slip from the top because if I have it right, we have given up 25,000 mark or just around that mark. So we let go of that, but we bounce back. So that's the 3 p.m. move that we are witnessing right now. And Nifty Bank higher by almost 500 points as we speak. It's Trent, which is up 8%. Adani stocks are also actually fairly excited. Take a look at Adani Ports, Adani Enterprises, Adani Transmission for that matter. All of these stocks have managed to show good amount of bounce back. BEL had an order win. It wasn't as large to warrant a 4% move, but today a lot of these defensive, defense plays, I beg your pardon, as well as industrials, etc. doing well. Case in point being ABB, Siemens, those stocks are higher by 4 to 5%. You also have Dixon, which is doing quite well in the trading session. In fact, Kunal, from this entire, defense, industrial, capital good kind of theme, which are the stocks that you would recommend?
So from the defense pack, I think HAL is something which is looking attractive. Even Bharat Electronics, I think, is forming a base at 270 mark. From the other names, the shipbuilders, stocks, I think GRSC is one of the stocks which has corrected more than 40% or 45% from its previous major swing highs. I think 2800 approximately was the previous highs for the stock. So I think in that sense, many of these stocks have come back to their long-term moving averages, and it seems like that over the last 1 or 2 weeks, these stocks are taking a pause, or there is a halt at the 200 moving average, which means we could probably be at a phase where the mean reversion or the longer term retracement has completed for these names. Now I think also in terms of the other spaces, I would probably believe that the auto stocks are something which is looking attractive. From the cap good names which you mentioned, I would believe Siemens is something which is on the verge of a breakout. The stock, after 3 or 4 days of sharp price correction, is come back to the previous swing highs of 50 odd marks. So I think that could be a very big breakout point, and expecting the stock to climb up to at least 7800 to 7900 mark.
Okay, point taken. So that's the view coming in on some of these names. But putting the spotlight as to the latest headlines coming in from the political arena, the election results for the two assembly polls are out. The morning celebrations by Congress workers seemed a bit too early as BJP came back to stop the joyous mood on its track. Leads show that the Saffron Party is all set to come back to power for a historic third term in Haryana, defying the exit poll predictions. Let's listen into the big voices coming in on this big comeback by the BJP.
I remember at one point in one Lok Sabha, we had a member of parliament, a colleague who had won by 19 votes. So sometimes it comes close, but end of the day, it's the number of seats that matter, and I'm sure that Congress will get majority.
Ma'am, I also want to understand in terms of the kind of, election planks and, the messaging that went out, what were some of the issues that you think, perhaps did kind of manage to resonate with the masses and perhaps in terms of Congress strategy that did not?
Because you're from ET and this should matter to your audience. Today, unemployment is a major issue. And very much so in Haryana. You saw Rahulji visiting house of one migrant family. Lot of migration has taken place in Haryana. They are going out, they're going even to war zones, conflict zones, they're getting, because they see no hope here. So the youth is totally disillusioned. And that is something which is a very big factor in any economy, in any national economy and state economy. So Haryana today is not offering that kind of a future to the youth. And then of course there are other issues like inflation, rising prices.
राजनीति में अगर आ गए तो कंटिन्यू इधर ही रखेंगे. लोगों ने प्यार प्रेम दिया है, उनके लिए काम भी करना पड़ेगा फील्ड में रह के. ऐसा तो है नहीं कि हम दोनों चीजें कर सकते हैं. मैं स्पोर्ट्स पर्सन हूँ, जितना हो सकता है मैं स्पोर्ट्स के लिए करूँगी और मैं एक फील्ड में सीमित नहीं रहना चाहती. हर फील्ड के लोगों ने, हर किसान का मेरे हैं, चाहे नौजवान हैं, सभी ने मेरे को वोट दिया है. तो सभी की जो जिम्मेदारियाँ हैं वो मैं बखूबी निभाने की कोशिश करूँगी.
हमें तो पहले ही पता था, इट इज नो सरप्राइज. हमने तो पहले दिन से जब चुनाव घोषित हुए थे तब भी हमारा वही बयान था, जब चुनाव चल रहा था मिड कैंपेन में तब भी हमारा वही बयान था, जिस दिन वो एग्जिट पोल आए तब भी मेरा यही बयान था. और आज जब सवेरे रुझान दिखाए गए और कांग्रेस के दफ्तर में लड्डू बांटे गए और ढोल बजाए गए, नगाड़े बजाए गए, तब भी मेरा यही बयान था. इंस्टेंट उसी वक्त मेरा यही बयान था. अब भी मेरा यही बयान है कि हरियाणा में भाजपा तीसरी बार अपने दम पर, मेरे बयान निकाल लो, सारे लैंग्वेज निकाल लो, कि तीसरी बार हरियाणा में भाजपा अपने दम पर सरकार बनाई.
Well, the election in the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir were nothing less than a marvel. In fact, to top it up with unexpected results, much like Haryana, here are some reactions coming into the same.
सबसे बड़ी चीज ये है कि जो दबाव है उस दबाव को हमने खत्म करना है. ये पुलिस राज नहीं होगा, ये लोगों का राज होगा. यहाँ जो बेगुनाह जेलों में बंद हैं उनके लिए हम कोशिश करें कि उनको निकालें. आपके मीडिया के लोग जो सच बोलने के लिए अंदर हैं उनको बाहर निकालेंगे कि सच कायम रहना चाहिए. सच ही हमें आगे ले जाएगा और मीडिया आज़ाद होगा इंशाअल्लाह. और मीडिया लिखेगा, मगर सिर्फ एक चीज़ मैं मीडिया से गुजारिश करूँगा, नफरतों को नहीं दिखाना है. हमने मोहब्बतें बढ़ानी है, हिंदू मुसलमान में एतबार पैदा करना है, वही सबसे बड़ी चीज़ है. मैं समझता हूँ उमर अब्दुल्ला जो है वो सीएम बनेंगे.
जहाँ भी देखिए इतनी टक्कर में तो पीडीपी है. नेशनल कॉन्फ्रेंस का मुकाबला किसके साथ हो रहा है यहाँ पर कश्मीर में? इट्स पीडीपी. तो मुझे तो नहीं लगता है कि आप गांधरबल में कितने वोटों से टक्कर दे रहे हो, आप बड़गाम में टक्कर दे रहे हो जो चीफ मिनिस्टर फेस है. तो इसमें तो मुझे लगता है कि पीडीपी इज नॉट व्हाट यू से कि खुदा ना खास्ता बहुत लो है. हाँ, सीट्स कम आ गई हैं, पर वी आर अ फोर्स टू रेकन विद. अपोजिशन में भी वी मे बी डाउन, बट वी आर नॉट आउट.
We might be down but not out. That's the word coming in. But for the markets, it's Vedant Fashions which is actually perking up. Jio Financial Services is also doing okay. Varun Beverages was holding up from the start of the trading session and continues to do well. And J&K Bank too is a bit excited. In the last few minutes, we have seen a bit of a perk up on some of these names. In fact, Rajat Sharma joins us on the show to talk to us about the fundamentals of the market and the latest stock picks. Rajat, to begin with, Paytm, that stock is up 14%. What explains that, and would you be a buyer at 750 thereabouts?
You know, this is one stock that I've consistently been recommending since it fell the way it had fallen. And, you know, my reason has been that, look, it has an amazing brand value. It has an absolutely unmatchable reach in terms of, you know, the number of vendors who use Paytm. It's got a first mover advantage, widest network. Sooner or later, it will either be merging or be taken over by some other company. What's going on right now, I really can't say, because, you know, the ban which they saw in February this year, where Payments Bank was taken away from them. Quite frankly, there's a lot of other companies who follow the same practice. So really, there's obviously more than what meets the eye, but fundamentally, when you look at their accounts, they have a very clearly established business. We've given a very, very detailed research on this on our website. It's for anyone to see who wants to, you know, search Paytm Sana Securities. It's a very detailed research. I like this stock. I've liked it at 300, 400, 500, and even at this price. Something obviously is going on in this stock, which, quite frankly, the honest answer from my side is I really don't know what that is. But I like the stock fundamentally. They've got a very, very well-established business within the payment space.
Rajat, you won't share the same optimism about Ola Electric, would you?
No, absolutely not. You know, I tweeted when the company was coming up with an IPO. I said three things, all of which have happened, which is something I shared over my Twitter yesterday, that, you know, on listing, it will go up by a lot, but that's not anything to do with fundamentals of Ola, which are fairly weak. It's a loss-making company, but purely because there's an absolute IPO frenzy, and it would have been a good opportunity for anyone who got this stock to, you know, sell while they could. Right now, I think it's trading between 90 95. I'm not really sure of the exact price, but I wouldn't be surprised if it comes back to its price band of 70 76 and falls even lower. We've seen this happen in past, and yeah, I think I wouldn't recommend anyone buying the stock even at that price, to be honest.
Taken. So that's a view coming in on Ola Electric, but I would want your views, Rajat, on a couple of other big IPOs which are in the pipeline, namely Swiggy and Hyundai. But since we're talking about Hyundai, let me take it across to Shrishti to get more details, because we do understand that this one is likely to open in the coming week itself.
Well, certainly all eyes on the Hyundai IPO, and the excitement is on because as early as next week we can see the IPO opening. That, but as the reports that on 14th of October the IPO is going to open for all the institutional investors, and for the rest, including the retail investor, 15th October and between 17th October they will have a chance to apply for this particular IPO. The IPO size is expected at around $3 billion, that is close to 25,000 rupees, and along with that the price band is likely to be in the range of 1865 rupees and going higher up to 1960 rupees a piece. And given this particular price band, the IPO is valued at around $19 billion, that is 1.6 lakh crores. And do remember that this particular valuation is actually a little lower than what the reports were suggesting a while back, because the company has also indicated the valuation close to around this particular range itself. And the reports also suggest that the company is targeting 22nd October as their first trading day. Now, just a while back we have seen that Hyundai IPO getting the SEBI nod for its IPO, and this is going to be a complete offer for sale by the parent company. They are looking to offload around 17.5% stake in the company, and as we know that this is going to be one of the biggest IPOs in the Indian markets, where Hyundai IPO drives around 76% of their operations from the Indian market itself, and the rest is from exports. They do have a great market share holding in the Indian markets after coming just after Maruti Suzuki. And given this particular valuation, we have seen the kind of movement in the rest of the peers as well. But just to highlight that given this particular valuation at 1.6 lakh crores, the valuation of EV by EBITDA multiple for FY24 stands close to 24 times, and that is very close to Maruti Suzuki valuation as well. But given the kind of movement or kind of growth that the company has showcased in the past, and doing a forward valuation, trying to get a sense over that, then EV by EBITDA multiple for FY26 stands close to 21.5 times. That's as per our calculation. But indeed, all eyes on the Hyundai IPO, which is likely to open next week itself as per reports.
Point taken. Thanks for that, Shrishti. But Rajat, what's the view on this one? Hyundai or Swiggy? Which one would you prefer, or is it going to be both?
No, without a doubt, Hyundai. Without any doubt. In fact, I was looking at the chart, the graph that you were showing. I think Tata Motors was missing from that. It showed a market share of 10% by Mahindra and Mahindra, and obviously Maruti Suzuki does have a market share of about 41%, but 14% is Tata Motors, which is very critical, which was missing in the chart. And I think what you're seeing even happen with Tata Motors is the stock price falling is now the top four players, which is Maruti Suzuki, Hyundai, which is number 2, Tata Motors, which is number 3, and Mahindra, which is number 4. I think put together, they would have something like 78% share of Indian passenger vehicle category. Now they'll all be listed. Hyundai, which is a big player, is now getting listed. So some money may actually flow out from some of these stocks and go into the new entrant to the passenger vehicle segment. I like Hyundai as a stock. Their cars are doing very well. They're not really leaders. Tata Motors is the leader. Sorry, Maruti Suzuki is the leader. But they've got a better product line, I do believe, and it's coming at fairly attractive valuations. Yeah, so that's the chart that I'm talking about. You have Hyundai, Maruti, M&M, and Tata Motors, which is actually larger than M&M in terms of market share. I think it's 14% or so, which is just as much as Hyundai is. So I think that bit of the pie for listed players will expand. Between the two, I would like to recommend and even try to buy Hyundai post listing. I don't really invest in IPOs. It's a big waste of time. But Hyundai, if you get it at a good price, is something you should buy and hold in your portfolio. This is a sector which should do really, really well going forward. So yeah, and Swiggy, I'm really not sure, even with Zomato, if, with all these businesses, Blinkit and everything else that they're doing. First of all, Swiggy is a second mover. Zomato has taken away whatever they could. I don't know, it may be some kind of anchoring bias. I anyways always order from Zomato wherever I am, Delhi, Goa, Bombay, which is the cities where I visit the most. And not really used Swiggy, not really looked into their accounts. It'd be disingenuous for me to talk about Swiggy and its valuations, honestly.
Right, okay, that's the take coming in on some of the recent IPOs in the pipeline, and it seems like Hyundai could be as early as just next week. In the meantime, just taking stock of what the market as well is up to and whether you're still seeing those gains hold on. At least there is a fair attempt, 135 odd points up in the green for the Nifty futures, still clinging on to that 25,100 mark as we speak right now. M&M though has powered ahead. It's almost now closing in on the 3,200 mark, 3.5% of a move coming in on that stock. Kunal, a clear winner, you think? Because, I mean, last year was all about Tata Motors, but this year clearly belongs to M&M.
Yeah, last year partly was also for M&M because I think from 750, if I'm not wrong, the stock formed a bottom. And I think from there on, it's just moved on strength after strength. Yes, of course, the major part of the price rally was, on the back of the stronger move on Tata Motors. But I think M&M in the last 6 months, 1 year, I think has picked up quite well. The stock holding on to the 3,000 mark. Even this last 4-5 days of the price correction, I think that was one of the strongest part of the move for M&M. So I think it doesn't come as a surprise that on the way up and the markets are seeing a bounce, this stock is now coming very close towards a breakout of its previous size of 3,200.
Okay, talking about life high levels, it's not just Trent, Dixon, Ipca Labs, Coforge, they're all sitting at life high levels. And good amount of volumes today on the likes of Triveni Turbine as well. That stock is up in the trading session. Rajat, wanted a sense from you. Which are the sectors, apart from the ones that we discussed, that are looking good to you, or anything else that you have added fresh in the portfolio?
Yeah, so, two sectors which I really like at this point. One is FMCG, which is pure FMCG. In fact, a very interesting thing that right now when you talk of consumption, even when I was looking at the fact sheets of a lot of consumption funds, they have a lot of names which are consumption, like Bharti Airtel and even HDFC Bank. It's consumption banking, but I'm talking pure FMCG like ITC, HUL, Asian Paints, Britannia, Nestle. The bread and butter companies. That's one segment which hasn't done much for a while now, and that's where we are initiating some buy. Two stocks that I have added recently to my portfolio. Actually, I did talk about it on your show last week as well, or the week before last week when I was there, is Asian Paints and HUL. And my rationale was that, Asian Paints has actually, in terms of valuation, fallen from 100 plus price earnings to about a little below 60 now. So earnings have kept improving, stock price has not kept going higher in line with its earnings. So that's one stock that we've added. Hindustan Unilever, again, stock has done nothing. Earnings are consistently improving. So this is one sector which I like, and these are the two stocks which we've added. The other sector is, well, actually, there's two places where we made some buying. Private banking also, again, it's a perfect classical case of what, Ben and Graham kind of old authors would describe in their security analysis, that, sectors which are facing problems, industry specific, otherwise there's no problem with the business. They're not getting deposits because a lot of money keeps getting invested in mutual funds and debt funds and balanced advantage categories. So there's a mismatch between deposit and advances with banks. Sooner or later, this should clear out. So, you had an HDFC Bank which used to trade at multiples of 28 plus. Today it's trading at multiples of 18 and there are no buyers. So it's a very boring stock for many people right now, but it will catch up. So that's another sector that we've looked at adding. Again, only private banking. And the third space is technology. You have Infosys and Emphasis, which are now paying dividends close to about 2%. And look, because of the whole artificial intelligence boom in the US and Indian companies being traditional legacy old models of doing business were sort of out of flavor. So large cap information technology companies is something that we've added. Infosys and Emphasis are two stocks which we've added in not all but multiple portfolios for clients.
Emphasis, even some of the private banking names like HDFC Bank, and then of course you do have the HUL and Asian Paints of the world. But talking about Asian Paints, there were these reports doing around that, of course, AkzoNobel global parent is looking at some sort of restructuring of the business back home, and Asian Paints could be a likely contender. The earlier name that was being circulated was Birla Opus as well. Would you have a view there as to whether it's a good asset, whether it will be positive for Asian Paints if it buys it? What kind of consolidation are you expecting here?
I've not looked at that, but I think in both spaces, paints and cement, there's a lot of consolidation that's happening because there's a lot of capacity right now, and everybody has more than enough demand and more than enough business to cater into. If any consolidation happens, and Asian Paints being the market leader would obviously benefit from that.
Some interesting ideas and perhaps buy on declines as well. Let's also take in some BTST trades then. Kunal?
So I'll go with two buy calls. BEL is one of the stocks which I would suggest as a buy. The stock making a double bottom at the 270 levels. So would look out for targets in the range of 290. Stop loss at the support of 270. And the second would be a buy on UBL. And interestingly, the stock is forming a bullish engulfing pattern on the daily charts. So would look out for targets in the range of 2150. Stop loss at 2060.
Okay, so those are some of the top recommendations coming in right now from Kunal. What else is buzzing apart from Paytm, which is of course the biggest buzzer in town right now? You have HEG, which is actually suddenly spiked 12%. BSE as well has been doing quite well, and GRSC, the stock that Kunal was talking about, has managed to shoot up further. It's now trending with a gain of around 9%. So a lot of these big movers in the market right now, and in the last few minutes they have definitely moved up further. What else is buzzing apart from Paytm and HEG? Well, Varun Beverages is also holding out to decent amount of gains. On the losing side, however, you do have names like NMTC, Vijaya Diagnostic, SBI Life, Tata Steel, which are coming under pressure. In fact, for insurance, if we can, let's take it across to Anurag to get better sense as to how the numbers have panned out, because the latest figures for the industry were out and it looked like there has been some sort of moderation that has happened. Anurag, tell us what exactly are the numbers and the industry situation looking like?
So with the data of month of September, we have the complete details about the general insurance industry, non-life insurance sector from the month of April to the month of September. That is first 6 month H1 of FY25. So in first 6 month, overall general insurance industry, non-life insurance industry has shown a growth of 7%. Premium has reached to the mark of 1,53,000 crore. But in month of September only, there is a degrowth of 6.5%. But if we talk about the Sahi companies, that is standalone health insurance companies, both in the first half they have shown a 26% growth, and in month of September also the growth is around 25%. If we talk about the listed player, then the market leader New India Assurance, in month of August we have seen that New India has shown a negative growth, but in month of September there is a New India Assurance has shown a premium growth of around 9%, and in first H1 the premium growth is 3%. ICICI Lombard has shown a good set of numbers. In month of first H1, the 6 month, the premium growth is 15.5%. In month of September also, the premium growth is 3.60%. Go Digit, the newly entrant in the listed space. The first time we are talking about the H1 number of Go Digit. So Go Digit has shown in H1 11.5% growth, and in month of September the growth is 5.5%. Star Health, the only listed company in a standalone health insurance space, which has shown in first 6 months 17% growth, and in month of September 18.5% growth. So in month of September the growth is not shown by, because month of September the people wait for the Navratri to buy their motor, new cars, new vehicles. So in month of September, the last 1 week or 2 weeks, people are waiting for the October to start to buy the new vehicles. So one of the reasons, because motor insurance also constitute around 30 to 35% of their overall book. So September figure is down by 6.5%, but overall H1 growth from April to September is up by 7% for the overall non-life insurance space.
Right, okay, that's the update coming in from some of the non-life insurers. Closing in for the market right now, and it's definitely been a choppy last 1 hour, but we've, I think, managed to cling on to the gains quite okay. 25,150 thereabouts is where we're shutting shop for the day for the Nifty futures. Adani Enterprises, Adani Ports, M&M. These are some of the biggest movers, and of course so many bright stars within the broader end of the market, for which I'm going to hand it over to Snehi to walk us through the closing trades.
Well, absolutely. So it's been a good day in trade for us, and we're able to say this after 6 days of some choppiness. Today the markets have shown some reversal, and we're holding on to the gains quite strongly, like Aisha mentioned, above 25,000 for now. At least last 3 minutes left in today's trade. Let's see if we manage to close above the 25,000 level. But it's a very smart recovery coming in on Nifty 50 on an intraday basis. 1% higher is where the Nifty is about to close at. Sensex also in tandem 0.8% higher. The broader markets have also lent some support today, and good show of strength coming in from the broader markets also. Nifty Midcap 2.3% higher. That's a big run up coming in on that front. Nifty Smallcap also in tandem with the mid-cap 2.2% higher is where that index is also at. Advance decline ratio very steeply in favor of the advances today. So overall it's been a day of good trade for us. But let's quickly take a look at some winners and losers, and lots to talk about on this front, because we've had lots of business updates, quarter 2 updates coming in. You have news flow coming in, as well as a whole slurry of brokerage notes as well. From the top 50 Nifty 50 gainers, you have Trent today 8% higher after its foray into lab-grown diamonds and Zodiac Beauty as well. BEL on the back of that 500 crore plus order win coming in 5% higher as well. That stock is as well. Adani stocks did well today. Adani Enterprises, Adani Ports also, both of them anywhere between 4.5-5% higher. M&M also 3.5% higher on the back of a brokerage note that came in that I will talk about in just a bit. However, on the flip side, when you take a look at some Nifty losers today, SBI Life, Tata Steel, Titan, Bajaj Finserv, JSW Steel, Bajaj Finance. These stocks did not do. Bajaj Twins also in a bit of a trouble today. These stocks did not do well at all today. But sectorally, you have most of the sectors. In fact, all sectors barring Nifty Metal have closed in the green today. Nifty Metal is the only sector that's on the losing end today. 0.8% lower is where that sector is, dragged by JSW Steel, Tata Steel, Hindalco and Jindal Steel as well. But other than that, auto, energy, pharma, PSU Bank, Bank, Realty, Nifty IT, all of these indices have done pretty well for themselves, and Nifty Auto is your big winner today. 1.7% higher is where that index is. Nifty Pharma was also in focus after we had a brokerage note coming in that focused on the pharma sector. Lupin, Cipla, a couple of stocks that did well from the pharma space as well. But let's talk about some other updates. And Varun Beverages is a stock that did well today. Remember, the board meets tomorrow for its fundraising plans. So that stock is also closed higher by almost 9%. Strong updates came in from Nykaa, although the stock didn't do much. You had a Morgan Stanley note as well. Weak updates, however, came in from Sobha today. You had Tata Motors, JLR that also posted a weak update coming in. On the back of a brokerage note, REC, PFC were two stocks that did phenomenally well today. CLSA on M&M also provided some support to that stock. Godrej Properties also, BOFA has maintained their neutral rating, so that stock did well. And you had a UBS note on Aurobindo Pharma coming in. They've maintained their sell rating. So that stock was not under pressure. In fact, despite this note, 1.5% higher. But well, yes, largely this is how we are shutting shop for the day. Nifty has managed to hold above the 25,000 level is what is reflecting on the screen. Almost a 1% gain coming in for Nifty 50 today.
There comes a time when your heart calls for you to arise. Plant your feet solid into the ground. Decide your own limits. And then break right through them. Become something more. It's my time to rise.